Okay, everybody, radio stations across the country, live here from the Bitcoin.com studio. Felt really good to be able to get an adequate amount of sleep this morning. This last weekend, I was honored to be a co-host, a guest host, you could say, on Fox and Friends Weekend. It was a tremendous experience. I just want to commend Charlie Hurt and Rachel Campos Duffy, the two permanent hosts on the program. They were so welcoming. They were so kind. They're just wonderful people. And they were really just awesome to work with. And also the entire Fox production team, the producers. Just so you understand, you get up for this program around 3:45 on a Saturday morning. You get into the studio, you prep. They give you a whole pile of stuff you got to go through. And then you have to be interesting for 4 hours straight. And it seems like we did very well. I guess the ratings will come out later this week. And also I did it all on no caffeine, which is kind of the way that I'm doing things nowadays. So a phenomenal experience. And one of the moments that has really started to go viral and that was most important is where we contrasted the Democrat Party and their perspective on how to reach younger people, specifically with the Gen Z summit they did last week and what we've done at Turning Point USA. And the Gen Z summit that happened last week was a mockery. They literally had a guy in a Panda suit on stage talking to like 200 younger Gen Z activists. You contrast that with the Turning Point USA Student Action Summit, which you obviously know what we do at Turning Point USA is the best of the best speakers, the best organizing, the best energy. It's second to none. From Pete Hegseth to Kristi Noem, we had Tucker Carlson, we had Russell Brand. It was a phenomenal experience. And then, so you see, it's a really amazing transformation. The Democrats 13 years ago, their political events were cool and they were more uplifting and they were attractive. Why is it and how is it possible that we have this robust youth movement? Can we just get this picture up on screen? This is literally the Gen Z Democrat Organizing Youth Summit. Let me just show you this picture for those of you that are watching on live streaming or Real America's Voice. We'll put this picture up on screen. It's maybe like 150 people. Just to put this in perspective, our members-only lounge at the Student Action Summit, which is for only people that become members of the Charlie Kirk Show, members.charliekirk.com, is bigger than that. This looks like a dorm meeting. Maybe 100 students. And it's so interesting. I don't have usually I have a really good answer to things. That's why people tune in. And I'd love Blake's thoughts on this. How is it possible? And then contrast that with the Turning Point USA stuff. Just look at the images. I mean, it's remarkable. How is it possible that on the Democrat side, they raise billions of dollars, they have connections to Hollywood, they have tons of billionaire donors, that we're the ones that have these events with 7,000 students and we have young people from across America that are there. I mean, just look at just the production quality. Go back and forth between. So that's our Turning Point USA Student Action Summit, just one of our gatherings throughout the year. And by the way, we're drawing thousands of people on campus. Then contrast that with the Democrat Gen Z organizer one. Look at this one. How is that possible? Our stage crew is bigger than the amount of people at the Gen Z summit. And it wasn't like this was just some sort of afterthought. They had Kamala Harris there. They had Nancy Pelosi there. I mean, this was supposed to be their big summer organizing event. And look again at ours.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, at 91 years of age, with my wife Shirley, who is 82. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, neither of us have any kind of sickness, and we're as flexible as we were 30 years ago, and we still do the physical things we did 30 years ago. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you. You won't believe it. Immuno 150 is an awesome nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it.
Yes, it really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order online or call the number listed on the screen, but don't place your order until after you've watched the 2 videos on our website. Thank you from both of us, and God bless.
They are floundering, but it's more than floundering. They're not even investing or trying. And I think the best explanation I have is that what we do is really hard at Turning Point USA. I wish I could take credit for it, but our team, they work nights, they work weekends, they take red-eye flights. It is the hardest working team in American politics. And I don't think the Democrats want to work that hard. I just don't. I don't think the Democrats want to go through the grit or the hustle or the 13 years of investment that we've put through. And that is just one event. This is Nancy Pelosi yammering about whatever. This is the officially sanctioned Voters of Tomorrow Summit. Look at this. And then you look at us, everybody, for those of you that are looking for some good news right now, 13 years ago, it would have been the opposite. 13 years ago, Obama would have had gatherings like ours. 13 years ago, we were on the outside looking in. And now 13 years later, we are the ones that, not just the better events, we have chapters, we're more viral, we're more online, we're not necessarily better funded. And that's the perplexing part of this. Where is all the Democrat money going? It's obviously not going for training and for activism. Just put this Gen Z summit up. This is the Gen Z voters of tomorrow. This is their big shebang. This is the big jubilee. This is the bonanza. And this is such an important point. A friend from Chicago just sent this to me. When I first started Turning Point USA and this movement was birthed, I used to look up to the Democrats. I used to look at the Democrats as a model. They're so well organized. They're in all of our communities. They're well financed. They're well funded. They do big events and they own culture. We used to look at the Democrats as something to try to defeat. And now 13 years later, I mean, this is pathetic. It is paltry. It's almost like intentionally bad. I mean, what is that, a bunch of tents or food tents? Now they're playing catch up to us. And guess what? I will outwork you. We will outwork you. That I guarantee. We are not taking it easy. We're doing more campus events this fall. We are going to wake up even earlier. We're going to be doing more events. We're going to be doing more activism. We're going to be doing more podcasts. We're going to be doing more interviews. We're going to be doing more social media views. We're going to be doing more TikToks. We're going to be doing more Instagram reels. It is a full out cultural investment. And meanwhile, you guys are talking about diversity as our strength. What is it? 2014 is calling Nancy Pelosi, and they want their talking points back. And you have to wonder, and again, I don't have a great answer to this. I'd love your thoughts, freedom@charliekirk.com. I have a feeling most of the audience is going to say the Democrats have stolen all the money. There's probably a lot of truth to that. But let's go to Cut 278. This is from my time on Fox and Friends. They show some of the clips from the actual event. So now those of you watching on television, you saw this, and we'll put this all on charliekirk.com if you're listening on radio. Look at the contrast. Do you want a positive, encouraging story? This happened just over the weekend, this Gen Z of Tomorrow Summit. Play Cut 278.
Tell us what's the difference between now and, say, the GOP youth movement in the past? What's changed?
Well, the biggest difference has honestly been President Trump. I mean, he has totally changed politics where now it's entertainment in the best possible way, where it's fun, it's boundary pushing. What we have brought into the political space is that we have made conservatism not just cool again, not just attractive again, but it's appealing. People want to join it. They want to be part of it. And this is one of the major reasons why President Donald Trump was able to win the youth vote in Michigan. He was able to win the youth vote in Arizona, my home state. President Trump did what was unthinkable 13 years ago. I mean, we've known each other for a while here. I mean, to think a decade ago that a Republican running for the presidency would be winning the youth vote is just an incomprehensible concept. And so we here at Turning Point USA, we're going to these college campuses. Our crowds are growing. Our support is increasing. And the data and the statistics bear that out as well.
We have outworked the Democrats the last 13 years. And that is why younger voters are substantially coming in our direction. And we have to keep them there. We have to deliver for younger voters to stay there. It was a great honor to be able to share that on Fox and Friends weekend. But I think part of this also goes to we're entrepreneurs at Turning Point USA. We create, we take risks, we push boundaries, we come up with new programs, we find problems, and we come up with solutions. Maybe the Democrats are even more demoralized than we realized. And in some ways, they should be demoralized. This is a center-right country. And as long as we have fair elections, we are going to pummel you. We at Turning Point USA are still in startup mode. We're still pushing the boundaries. I have to play this. I get to immigration, but first, and then there's new Epstein stuff. We'll get to that. And there's all sorts of information that we're going to be covering. We have also the Gaza situation we're going to be covering up in the second hour. We have Bobby Kennedy joining us at the beginning of the second hour. So make sure this is appointment viewing today on the Charlie Kirk Show. So at the Democrat organizer event, this guy wore a Panda suit. So you just saw a contrast to what we at Turning Point USA put on. Play cut 279.
What the is up? Let's go! So some ground rules. I don't think that this will be super necessary because you all seem really cool, smart, and hot. Who are we? And why are we here in a panda head? I also have had a long-term feud with former presidential candidate Marianne Williamson because she sucks. Memes change people's minds. So what's a meme, huh? Come on, people. Look alive.
We have long said the left can't meme because the left can't tell the truth. Memes work when they tell the truth. Memes don't work when they are propaganda tools. The left can't meme because they cannot tell the truth because truth is not a left-wing value. Truth is against everything the left stands for. The left stands for propaganda. They stand for brute force. They stand for totalitarian tyranny, mask mandates, vaccine mandates, lockdowns, open borders. The entire left-wing worldview, the entire left-wing project is elementally at its core a propaganda project. Without propaganda, they would not be able to do this. And I said this on our program. If their victory was inevitable, their propaganda would not be necessary. Commit that to memory. Remember when we were in the bottom of 2022 and 2023? Remember when we were at the absolute rock bottom? Trump's home was raided. He was facing 700 years in federal prison. The doldrums, in exile. We were banned from everywhere. We were banned from social media networks. We were banned from X, from Twitter at the time. It was as low as it got. And remember, almost every day I said, if their victory was inevitable, their propaganda would not be necessary. Turns out we were right. President Donald Trump is in Scotland, enjoying himself. I hope so. It's my mother country, and eventually I will return as a visitor. By the way, Scotland has completely lost its mind politically. The President Donald Trump, he signed a huge, massive EU trade deal, but we'll get to that as time goes on. I'm going to talk about that with Senator Rick Scott. Instead, I want to draw your attention to a very important statement. It is a statement being heard around Europe. And understand, one of the reasons why in Europe they're not able to stop mass migration is they don't have freedom of speech. When you don't have freedom of speech, you cannot challenge things that are going wrong if it's against the ruling orthodoxy. Play cut 243.
On immigration, you better get your act together. Or you're not going to have Europe anymore. You got to get your act together. And we, as you know, last month we had nobody entering our country. Nobody. Shut it down. And we took out a lot of bad people that got there with Biden. Biden was a total stiff. And what he allowed to happen, but you're allowing it to happen to your countries. And you got to stop this horrible invasion that's happening to Europe. Many countries in Europe. Some people, some leaders have not let it happen. And they're not getting the proper credit they should. I could name them to you right now, but I'm not going to embarrass the other ones. But stop. This immigration is killing Europe.
One of my favorite moments of President Trump, either at NATO or that ridiculous thing in Canada they did, the G7 summit, is President Trump is the unanimous leader of Western civilization. All these other leaders are just completely cowering to his will, bowing to his will. This is President Donald Trump around Keir Starmer, and I don't know who this woman is. Is that Keir Starmer's wife or something? Where President Donald Trump continues to ridicule the leaders of the West for allowing complete and total open borders. Play cut 272.
This is a magnificent part of the world, and you cannot ruin it. You cannot let people come in here illegally And what happens is there'll be murderers, there'll be drug dealers, there'll be all sorts of things that other countries don't want. And they send them to you and they send them to us, and you've got to stop them. And I hear that you've taken a very strong stand on immigration, and taking a strong stand on immigration is imperative.
Keir Starmer has not taken a strong stand on immigration, but if we're grading on a curve, the people telling President Trump that, President Trump's got a million things going on. It's not to blame him. The people telling President Trump are propagandizing him. No, Keir Starmer has been a disaster. The European project, they are losing Central European identity with Islamism and with third world migration. Europe is no more. It is a conquered continent.